A Child's Guide to Advent and Christmas. Look! By Laura Alary, illustrated by Ann Boyajian. This is the season of Advent. The church is dressed in purple. The world outside has its own seasons and its own colors. These days, the warm light of autumn is seeping away. All the bright leaves have flown. Winter is coming in black and white. Furry frost coats the bare bones of trees, and by supper time we can already see the moon, milky against the dark sky. In a branch outside my window, squirrels have built a nest. Even the shrubs are snug in their burlap blankets. We are all huddled in the dark, waiting for the light to return. In church we are waiting too, waiting for Christmas. While we wait, we watch for the light. Look back. The people in darkness. Long ago, the people of God huddled in the dark, waiting and watching for the light. It was a time of deep sadness. Once they had lived happily in Jerusalem, but an army destroyed their city, their homes, their gardens, their holy places, and carried the people far away across the desert. Everything they knew and loved was gone. All the color and light had seeped out of the world. But in the darkness, God whispered messages of hope. I will bring you home again, where the ground is dry and cracked. A spring will bubble up. From a dead stump, bright green leaves will grow. On those who sit in deep darkness, light will shine. So even though they could not see the way ahead, the people kept watching for the light. I wonder if it was hard to hope. Maybe they looked back and told stories about how God had been with them in the past. Maybe that helped them wait, knowing they were not alone in the dark. During Advent, we look back. We remember people who waited for God, especially in times of trouble. Every day we put a new ornament on our Jesse tree. Each one tells a story. Noah and his family, waiting for the storm to stop. Abraham and Sarah, waiting for a child. The Hebrews in Egypt, waiting to be free. Miriam and Moses, waiting to see the promised land. The people of Jerusalem, waiting to go home again. Sometimes I feel like I'm waiting for something. Sometimes I want God to come and help me. Their stories are my story too. During Advent, we practice waiting and watching. We look through old photo albums and watch movies from when I was little. We try to see how God was with us in sad times and happy times. Sometimes we see more clearly when we look back. Every night we asked, where did I see God today? Sometimes I write about it in my journal. Sometimes I paint or draw. Sometimes I use prayer beads. With each bead, I tell God what I hope for. One night we bundle up and go outside to look at the stars. We remember that God is in the darkness too. Wherever I am, God is with me. Look around. John the Baptist. After many years, the people of God were still waiting. They had come home to Jerusalem, rebuilt their homes, gardens, and holy places. But the world was still not the way they thought it should be. So they began to hope for someone special, someone who would come to set things right. Who would it be? A wise king, a fierce soldier, a heavenly hero? Someone to destroy their enemies and rescue them from trouble? No one knew for sure what God had in mind. John the Baptist was waiting and watching for whomever God might send. When he was a young man, John left his ordinary life and went out into the desert. When he came back, he howled and stung like a sandstorm, angry at the unfairness of the world. Someone is coming, he cried, someone who will change everything. He will sort good from bad, the way a farmer separates wheat from chaff, and he will burn the chaff with fire. Before this one comes, warned John, you must get ready. Change your ways. If you have 2 coats, give one to someone who has none. Share your food with the hungry. Look around. See what needs to change, but change yourself first. People who wanted to change came to John by the river. Under the water they plunged, then up again, ready for a clean start. One day Jesus came to be baptized. When Jesus came up out of the dark water, dazzled by brightness and fluttering wings, John knew that Jesus was the one he had been waiting for. I wonder if Jesus was what John expected. Jesus loved his enemies, prayed for those who hurt him, welcomed everyone, good and bad together. Sometimes God comes in ways we don't expect. Maybe God likes surprises. During Advent, we look around. We try to see the things we usually miss. We read stories about people in other places and imagine what their lives are like. Some of the stories are sad. Why do some people have so much and others not enough? The world is still not the way it should be. The stories push us to ask hard questions. What needs to change? Is there anything we say or do that hurts others, near or far away? How can we change our ways? At supper, we say a new kind of prayer. Before we eat, we try to think of everyone who helped bring the food to our table, who planted the seeds and cared for the plants, who picked the fruit and dug the vegetables, who brought them to market. We thank God for everyone. We are all connected. During Advent, we share. We collect food and toys, coats and boots for people who have none. One day we make special wreaths. On green paper, we trace our hands many times, then cut out the shapes and put them in a basket. Whenever we do something kind, we glue another hand to the wreath. Day by day, the wreath gets fuller. It feels good to see how we are helping. But the wreath helps us too. It reminds us to look around and see how we can make the world better. Advent is a time for surprises. Each door of our calendar hides a tiny gift, one for every day. Even better are the surprises we create. With paints and potato stamps, we make Advent cards. On each one, we write a hopeful message to someone who needs cheer. We hope the cards will be a bright spot in a dull day. One afternoon, we bake cookies and pack them in pretty boxes. That night, we load the boxes into our wagon and walk around the block, delivering treats to our neighbors. Their faces say more than words: wonder, thanks, joy, delight. On the way home, the wagon is empty, but my heart is full. Sometimes I think I can see God in other people. I wonder if they can see God in me. God comes in ways we don't expect. Look ahead, Mary. Mary was waiting too, counting the days until her wedding. While she waited, she dreamed of a new life with Joseph, of the children she hoped to have, maybe even grandchildren someday. But into her daydreams burst the messenger with his astonishing words. Greetings, Mary. The blessing of God is upon you. The Holy Spirit will overshadow you, and you will have a child, who will be called the Son of the Most High God, a light for people everywhere. Mary wondered, how can this be? I am not even married yet. What will people say? What will Joseph say? Will he believe me? What will this child become? How can he possibly be the one we have all been waiting for? I wonder if Mary could have said no. What would have happened then? Maybe God would have found some other way. Then Mary would have lost her chance to bring God into the world. But Mary said yes, sang yes, her voice trembling with fear and joy. During Advent, we look ahead. We think about our own choices. What is God asking us to do and be? I often say no. No, I don't want to. No, I'm busy. No, I'm too scared. I wonder if I have ever said no to God. I wonder what might have happened if I had said yes. Each Sunday of Advent, we light a new candle on the Advent wreath. I love how the light grows and grows. 3 of the candles are purple, but on the 3rd Sunday, the candle is pink. People say that it is pink because pink is the color of joy. We are joyful because it is almost Christmas. Our waiting is almost over. But I like to think there's another reason. Pink is the color of new things. Sunrise, baby birds, cherry blossoms in the spring. When I draw a picture of Mary, I dress her in pink, not the usual blue. Mary said yes to something new, and her yes brought the light of God into the world. That makes me joyful. During Advent, we try to be brave like Mary and say yes to new things. We ask a new family to come for lunch. I talk to the girl who has just moved to my school. We peel potatoes at the soup kitchen and visit with the people who have come for a hot meal. Maybe we have made the world a little brighter. I can see how no slams the door, but yes lets God come in. Christmas. One night in Bethlehem, months of waiting came to an end. It was not what Mary had expected. She had imagined giving birth at home, within the warm, safe circle of her family. But the baby came in his own surprising way. Cuddling him by lamplight, Mary marveled over his tiny fingers and toes. How could someone so small fill her with so much love? Soon others came looking for the child, shepherds with their bleating sheep, following rumors of a Savior, women from the village with steaming dishes of food, drawn by compassion and curiosity, scholars with books and star charts and precious gifts, thirsty for truth and wisdom, a bitter, fearful king, bent on destroying what he could not understand, and later old Simeon and Anna, who came to the temple day after day, patiently waiting for the one who would save their people. Each one came looking for something, except Mary. For her, it was enough simply to be with Jesus. Very late on Christmas Eve, we go to church. The sanctuary is still dark, except for the Advent wreath. All 4 candles are burning, and their flames dance in the shadows. Only the tall white Christ candle remains to be lit. We listen to words from the Bible, ancient words from people who wandered, watched, and waited for God to come. Then something wonderful happens. With the flare of a match, the Christ candle leaps to life. Someone touches its flame with a taper and passes on the light. Each of us holds a small candle. One by one, we receive the light and pass it on. The Christ light grows and grows until all our faces are glowing. I can feel the mystery. I used to wonder how we could still be waiting for someone born so long ago. But now I see. In Jesus, the light of the world, God came to us in a new and surprising way, but not for the first time and not for the last. Whenever we say yes to God, the light of Christ shines through us in a new place and time. Advent helps us see and remember what is always true. In the darkness or in the light, God is with us. Advent is now over. We have looked back. We have looked around. We have looked ahead. We are ready now. The light shines in the darkness. God is here. It is Christmas morning.